Alrighty. I think this is working. Can never tell. Alrighty. Well, welcome to the 10th stream. I think I've finally got my step. Actually being able to work on stuff whenever I need to, rather than whenever I want to. So that's good. Yeah. Come along. Slowly, I guess. It'll get there. Let's see. So, what we did last time was mess around with this gun mount, made it bigger. I was talking about these gear teeth. I went ahead and did the math for that. It was pretty easy. This is exactly 2,000 centimeters wide. So I just got the circumference, divided it by 16. Figured out it was yay long. So I made these teeth. For now I can go on those rails. And here's what it looks like. So yeah, it follows it. Works pretty well. Yeah, that'll do. That's a big mass right there. Big chunk of mass. A lot of power in that. So yeah, that's good. So I guess I'll copy these over. Don't want to save the animation in the actual model. Cool thing about Sketchup is you can copy models between applications. Very useful. Don't have to import, export stuff. Go. So we'll copy these around here. Like so. I think what we'll do is make a bunch of instances. It has to be extended. I think since these are not bilateral, we should just keep them their own particular component. That'll do. I have to tweak it a little bit. Make sure these gear teeth line up. Something like that. That'll do. think what we'll do is extend this down. Then make some extensions. Guess 400 will do. Hey, what's up, Mark? Nice to see you again. What's up? Not too much, honestly. Making it work. What's up with you? And I have the stream latency down, high, so may not be able to make response very fast. That'll do. So the thing is, you're able to walk through here, so these cannot go all the way down. So yeah. Need a guide bar right here. I think we'll just do it manually. Ah, yes, it is for a game. It's gonna take some polishing. But yeah, this will be drivable. I think you'll be able to have your crew in here. May make it so one person could drive it, not sure. But yeah, you'll be able to go inside here and pilot it. You'll be able to walk all over it and all that cool stuff. And you will be able to destroy it as well. Like if you're getting in a fight with somebody with the same machine, there'll be a lot of pieces flying off this thing. So yeah, this will be the most complex model in the game. Everything else will be a lot simpler. I think this is a ramp right here. Which I guess it would be pretty dramatic if you went off a cliff. Just how the physics of that would work. May have to look into, like, what do you call it, soft deformation. Because whenever you get large objects like this, they don't necessarily break into, like, should I say, solid chunks. Like, metal gets pretty pliable with large machines, or just high amount of forces. Which I do say this is not exactly metal. Kind of a mix. Metallic concrete kind of stuff. High tensile strength. Sci-fi junk. So this is underneath here. How's development going? Well, honestly, not too great. I haven't touched it in like a week or so because I was too busy doing other stuff. So it won't be on Steam for a long time, I'm sorry to say. But I do have a plan. I will make a prototype in the next few months. Gameplay prototype. Something you can play. It won't have this in it, but it will have the basic gameplay dynamic in there. Like the actual game loop. It'll be simplified, but it'll be there. So this one won't be drivable for a while, unfortunately. I'm not going to beat around the bush. Maybe next year, maybe. Or not even. I could even do it in a few months. But it wouldn't be complete. Maybe just for testing purposes. But yeah, I mean, we'll see. It'll probably end up on Steam whenever it gets there. Something like that. So yeah, I mean, I have to focus on gameplay before graphics, and right now I'm just focusing on graphics. So I'll make that up. So the thing about it is... Oh, thank you very much. I hope it goes well too. And I'm pretty sure it will. Because I know where it's going to go, what it needs to happen. I know my skills, and I know the direction it needs to go in. So it's just a matter of getting myself organized enough that I can work on it more regularly. And that's kind of the reason I'm streaming this kind of stuff, because I wasn't really working on this guy very regularly. But as turns out, I'm getting it done, so that's pretty good. So that probably means I could do the same with the game. Who knows, maybe even some dev streams there. That'd be pretty cool. So yeah, it'll work. I can say with a certain amount of confidence that it will work and it will be nice, but I cannot say when it'll happen. Get rid of this. It could happen in the next few months, it could happen in the next few years, no idea. But it'll get there. I suppose what I'm trying to do first is get like keyframes in. Like get in what I want for the game, make it workable, make it so it works and shows promise, and then for everything else, like the actual large amount of content and stuff, could get actual other people on board, have a team going. Now, that'd be pretty cool. I have to prove the concept works though. So yeah. I think I'll lean heavily on procedural generation. Not for the map. The map, most of the map won't be generated. The characters will be, though. The robots you fight. Let's see, how many sides on this circle do I want? More than this, probably. That's too little. So yeah, need to get that going. Put 48 sides on this. Because the robots will be procedurally generated. And that'll be quite a can of worms. because that would mean I'd have to categorize exactly what goes into the model. Because right now I'm just kind of whatever. I know what has to happen, but I can't explain why a lot of times. So I have to actually break through that and have a cohesive, this is why this exists kind of stuff. So then I can actually generate it through code. Because problem is you have to know exactly what you're going for. You can't just make it up on the fly like this. This is all pretty low poly right here. If I were going for something more coherent, I would use curves and soft deformation. But right now I'm just doing everything manually. Just to get an idea of what exactly needs to go there. So this has to come up more because you'll be able to stand here. How much room do you have here? Average person is 140 centimeters. That's plenty of room. Where'd my crash test gonna go? Oh, there he is. Get in there. He's got plenty of room. That'll do. Let's see. So, what happened last time was we moved this entire complex up a notch. So now we have these superfluous chunks of geometry right here. Used to be their mounts, but now they do not align properly. Case in point. So, these have to get out of here. Which I have no qualms against deleting things. It's kind of like an artist having an eraser on their pencil. Sometimes you just need it. And plus it takes like what? A minute? To make a lot of these details? No time lost really. Well, not literally, but eh. Does not align. Now we have a good spot to put this. So we need a ramp right here, because there's two separate channels. What programming language? I am using Blueprints, which I'm sure a lot of people are like, why would you do that? It's UE4's modular network kind of stuff. It's not necessarily syntax, scripting, coding. Which, I mean, I could go on a brief tangent what that looks like. I did that in the last stream, but I just like doing it. Minimize this. Proc testing 8. So yeah, it's just nodular networks. It's not necessarily I think the stream's still going. Yeah. Big little bit of a hiccup there while it's loading. So yeah, this is what the code looks like. Let me open this guy up. Like stuff like this. That's just nodular networks. This is all vector math right here. Vector transforms, different physics forces and stuff. So it's not necessarily coding per se. So yeah. Oh, caught myself doing stuff. Let's get out of here. Anyway. Yeah, that's what that looks like. Where were we? Yeah, put a ramp here. What we'll do. So there's a lot of nuances with that. Like, people say blueprints are not efficient. I beg to differ. It's all a matter of how you use it. Here I am using Sketchup to make this kind of stuff. It's all how you use your stuff. Because I'm a visual kind of guy, like coding with syntax and all that stuff, which I'm pretty sure is superior, honestly. It's just, I can't get into that. I do complex stuff with simple things, if that makes sense. Not simple things with complex stuff. They say simplicity is the best complexity. I say complexity is basically simplicity, with more simple things inside it. That's a terrible way to put it, but for example, that's simple. That's simple. Put it all together, it's not simple anymore. It's just doing simple things in a complex way. Which is the literal definition of inefficiency. We'll get there. So what has to happen here is this has to go like this. We need to be able to walk in through here. Something like... We'll use plugin for this. Vector push-pull. Something like that. Close, but not quite. What's the game going to be called? No idea yet, honestly. I'm terrible at naming things. I don't know. I mean, the main characters, like this guy, I've been calling Zeos. I don't know if that's gonna be the name of the game or not. I'm not quite sure. It's way too early to tell exactly. I wouldn't say early, I mean, I just haven't come up with it yet. Need a good name. I guess all I can say is it'll be pretty unmistakable. Like there won't be much else like it in art style. So I guess it wouldn't matter too much what it's named. It'll be easy to find. Well, yeah. I'm trying to think of a good name. What do we got going on here? It's not a curved surface, is it? I know the problem. Derp. Might as well make it congruent. Thicker than that. So yeah. Not quite sure yet. There's a lot of things I have to do still, like... This is the war machine. I mean, everybody likes explosions and destruction and all that good stuff. That'd be pretty fun. But I have neglecting the actual peaceful side of it. This won't be necessarily 100% death and destruction type of game. I have to do some actual world building, which I have not been doing as much as I'd like. Give you a reason to fight. Because giant war machines are nice, but if it's just nothing but giant war machines, it kind of lacks meaning. So yeah. The game type I'm going for is RPG, but there'll be a lot of arcade elements in there. Like you'll be able to just jump in and start destroying stuff if you want to. You don't have to sit through a story or anything if you don't want to do that. It won't shove it in your face, in other words. Because a lot of times I'll be playing a game and it's like, I don't care about the story. When do I get to shoot stuff? Now, that's how it should be sometimes. And then only whenever you're interested, then it can start throwing the story at you. And not overly explain everything. Because what I want out of a game is something I can just jump in and do stuff. RPGs are kind of against that sometimes. So there's going to have to be some envelopes in there. Almost. Let's go this way. So yeah, thinking so I watched a tutorial on something, and it said something interesting. It said a true professional doesn't move fast just for the sake of moving fast. Like, the quality of their strokes is what's more important than true speed. So I thought about that for a second. I'm thinking, how do I model as fast as possible? So maybe I need to just slow down, think about what I'm doing. Because the way I've been doing things is quite literally the opposite. Is think as little as possible and work as fast as possible. So I just don't know what's right or wrong anymore. Two completely different ways of doing stuff. I guess it's just weighing the pros and the cons. Like, I suppose the bad thing about this is you end up with a lot of stuff, but you have to redo it sometimes. Because you end up thinking, hey, wait, it's not what I wanted. Or that's not what it needed. So I'm not quite sure what is right or which is better. Alrighty, that's that. Let's see. Where exactly does this go? supposedly is gonna meet up over there. So it doesn't have to go up there. Yeah, I guess we'll take that advice to heart. Let's just stop and think for a second. What needs to happen here? Oh. Well, that won't do. Don't bump your knees here. I don't think that's necessary. Anyway. Take a good look at this. Well, we started off strong. Let's see. What we need to do is focus on one particular aspect, not necessarily jump around and modify individual components on an as-need basis. Like, pick one spot and focus on it. So I guess with that in mind, we will focus entirely on cannot decide. The back. What has to happen here is will the game have a destructible environment? Yes. Very much so. You'll be able to destroy everything in the game. All of it. All of the above. The landscape, pieces of the landscape, the buildings you create, the buildings you find, all robots, everything but the creatures. The creatures won't be dismemberable or anything like that. That's a little too much. But yeah, destructible definitely. You'll be able to drill holes in the ground. It won't be voxels or anything. Like you won't be able to make caves or stuff. But you will be able to blow craters and... Because the thing is, the game environment will be... Let's see... Let's make an example here. Sandbox tools. Game environment will have a dynamic mesh, kind of like this. And a lot of it will be displaced. Like that's the base actual mesh. That's the basic terrain. And also on top of the terrain, there'll be a lot of components that look like just pieces of the terrain. For example, just they're all instance components like this. The thing is, they're dynamic. Like, whenever this one's bigger, it'll have more tessellation than that one. So the thing is, you'll be able to destroy pieces of it and displace certain parts of it. So with the terrain, the way it works is there's a maximum displacement depth, about yay much. And the way it works is whenever you displacement a certain amount, once it hits that certain bedrock, basically, that's your maximum. That's how the terrain works. And these ones are gonna be specialized meshes that kind of mess with their own topology and runtime. Like dynamic meshes, they're kind of low polyish kind of. And the thing is, the buildings you make, you'll be able to make cities and stuff, they'll all have modularized components, similar to this. Like they'll all be made up of stuff like this. And the thing is, they'll be instanced in such a way that these can be destroyed, and little pieces will fly off them and all that good stuff. So there'll be different systems working together to make everything destructible. And this will have gameplay impact as well, because the machines will actually go through your defenses. Like you can make your city and your defenses, and they'll actually work their way through it. Because the way they attack is by swarming. They call them mass movements. So their whole idea is to move through your defenses. And their whole thing is to destroy them. And if you destroy the ground, it turns out the whole planet is a construct. So if you dig too deep, you hit the substrate. If you hit it enough, it creates plasma fountains. And that'll be a gameplay aspect. So you can distract them with that by just drilling holes everywhere, making craters, different earth, what do you call it, defenses, structures. And that'll be a big part of the gameplay. It kind of plays into destruction. So yeah. And the thing is, there'll be some really big stuff, like very big things. Since the whole planet's a construct, the landforms will be truly massive. And then the thing is, there'll be guns you can have that will be just as massive. Well, not quite that big. Bigger. Something like that. Those are called geocannons. And you'll be able to use those to do artillery strikes on the robots as they're moving through the terrain, and you can take out pieces of the terrain to get to them. And that'll be part of the game, because you have to destroy the terrain a lot of times to get to them. And then where you can't actually do that, like if you don't have a cannon that can shoot through a mountain, basically, that's where this comes in. This is where they engage them with a gun that's on par with this. Because the main gun of this will be like yay big. So this is a mobile super destroyer. Well, not quite that big. Anyway, yeah. So, destruction's a big part of it. And the robots themselves will be about yay big as well. So you'll be able to fight inside the robots while you're fighting robots. It'll be pretty cool. And no, I am not pulling this out of just pulling it out of anywhere, out of nothing. Like, I know for a fact that I can do that. And I will do that. The tests have proven it. At least to me. I have to prove it to others now. Which is not as easy as I think it is, probably. But more tests will figure that out as well. Just have to get with it. You can have all these grandiose visions. And you could even have the skills to do it. But if you don't have the discipline to get with it, even when whenever you have no one telling you to do it, that's where the problem lies. It's not skill, it's discipline. Because I've been working in the shadows for as long as I can remember, and for the foreseeable future as well. And that's okay. Less stressful. Well, yeah, it's not going to be as amazing as it sounds. At least to me. Because I have a lot of things planned, there's going to be a lot of things probably cut as well. You can't do everything. I'll know for sure once I have the prototype up and running exactly how much I can have and how much I have to leave alone. But I will give it my all. Can you harvest materials to upgrade or construct vehicles and weapons? Yeah. Yeah, probably. But it won't be as in-depth as most other games. Like most other games, you're juggling like a dozen or so resources, maybe even more. Like a lot of resources. For this one, as when I started out, if it proves that it's a good system, I may put in more resources. But as it stands currently, the resources are very simplified. Like for example, if you need a specific, it's very simplified. Like this, all you would really need is a large amount of metallic concrete, the research to make it, the power to power it, and not a whole lot of extra other stuff. Like most other games would be like, you have to find a dilithium crystal thing to power the blah blah blah, and then you have to work your way up and get the proper materials for the cannon itself, and the materials for this, and the materials for that. Which I see the appeal in that. And that would be really awesome to have that in there. But as it stands, not quite. It's not going to be my main focus for now. But yeah, there will be resource management. That is a facet of the game that I need to explore more deeply. Because as it stands, I haven't really fleshed that out much. So the prototype won't have a whole lot of that. But the main game itself might. It might have all those cool stuff. The reason I'm kind of steering away from it is because it's hard to balance. Like, what is fun? Like, would it be fun to manage these resources? For a lot of people, it's yes. A lot of people, it's no. So, I'm on the fence about it. So there will be resource management, but not complex. Only time will tell. With that faucet, anyway. Because I do plan on it being that you can make your own city and stuff. Not sure about the dynamics on that yet. As in the specifics, like AI, like how would they move about it. That's the only thing, that's the only roadblock I see so far, is the AI. How would they respond? How do they pathfind around that kind of stuff? But yeah, but the thing is, for right now, the resources are simple, and I may complex them up later, but the research tree is very in-depth. Like, there's tons of research to go through. Like, you destroy robots and you get resources to upgrade your machines. Like, it'll give you a fetch quest as like, go kill certain robot to obtain this particular branch of research. And it'll give you reasons to destroy certain robots. So yeah, it'll be in a way that it'll make you do stuff. And like, it won't just leave you alone. Because I know I played a lot of games where it just leaves you alone. It's like it's a sandbox. And it's like, okay, you can do whatever you want. That's just kind of doesn't, it's not, I don't like it. I want to have something to strive for. A goal. Goal-oriented. What was I doing? Oh yeah. And the thing is, when you kill robots, you can harvest the robots themselves. Like, there's conservation of mass. Like, every time you kill a robot, in most other games, it's just kind of like, gone. In this one, the body stays there. And you can actually get your construct vehicles to go out there and reclaim them. So you can add mass to your own. Like you can, as in this is where this one comes from. Like this is actually repurposed robots regrown into a machine that they can use. So yeah, you'll be able to harvest those. As in the actual modular resources, not sure. Let's see, what was I doing? And yeah, there'll be a big research tree, research your weapons, different things like that. Now here's a question. I have a lot of answers, but here's a question I have. Like, if you were playing a game, would you want customizable weapons? Because I'm on the fence about that. I don't know what people would want with that, because I'm neutral on that. Like, as in, like, could you change these out? Put something else there. Would that mess with the balance? Is that worth having? Is it worth being able to put in, manufacture different types of shells for this kind of thing? Is it worth having that much depth? Will people care? Would it be worth having customizable geocannons? Or is it just having monolithic? Because I played Titanfall 2, and I'm totally fine with just having monolithic mechs. One guy has a sword, one guy has the rifle, and that's that. I'm totally fine with that. But I'm wondering if it would be better to have everything that you can just change out the weapons. Not sure. Will there be reasons where there is more of a particular enemy? Ah, yes, there will be. So, the planet, the way it is, I haven't made the map yet, but there's going to be a big old map. So the middle is basically kind of a Pangea continent. Like it's just a bunch of interconnected continents and stuff. There'll be different areas. So the thing is, at the very North Pole, there's a place called Terralith. That's on the North Pole. And that's the good guy's place. As in, that's this massive hole in the ground that they actually use for space travel. And the thing is, you're supposed to defend that, because the robots are coming from the South Pole. And they're moving upward. They want that. So it's going to be a kind of defense on a massive scale. Like, they'll go through canyons, they'll go through water, they'll go through all sorts of different places. One place will have mountains, one place will have steppes. There will be a hurricane right here. There will be a, what do you call it? The plains will be right here. And then this will be snowland right here. Craterland here. Actually, mix that up. Snowland, Craterland. And these will be like interconnected maps. Like there'll be one massive map, and then these will be all like interconnected. Like they'll load separately. There'll be like a few 5 to 10 kilometers wide each, and then if you go to the border, you kind of teleport to a different map. Like you won't, it won't be seamless or anything. I don't think. We'll see about that. So then, like different players can be doing different stuff in different places. So yeah, it'll be like that kind of. And then yeah, it'll go through different time periods where they're slowly making their way up. Tech levels. 3 tech levels. Yeah, there'll be 3 different tech levels. Like this one is the epiphany of tech level 2. I mean, not epiphany. The, what do you call it? Epitome. Yeah. This will be the top of tech 2. There'll be different super destroyers per tech. Like, that's Burden Beast, this one. First one that you'll first get off, this is the second one. The first one will be Overlord. Second one will be Felina. And that one, everything on this tech level is kind of smooth. Everything in this tech level is really, like, crazy. And everything in the first tech level is edgy. like that. So there's different morphologies going on between tech levels. So yeah, this is the top of Tech 2. Like, this is what you strive for when you get to Tech 2 and right before you get to Tech 3. So yeah. It's big stuff. Sure, there'll be different places. And there'll be different types of robots as well. 3 different types. There'll be the robotic, the animalistic ones that just want to eat stuff. And then there'll be the hive mind ones that are actually evil. They're evil robots. And then there'll be the smart robots. They're like, they could be your friends and stuff. But most of them, the vast majority will be the animalistic. They want to eat everything because they reproduce really fast. They literally grow out of the ground. Like, that's where they're coming from. That's why they're back here. Because they're coming out of the ground going forward. And they get really, really big. Like, whenever you're in Tech 3, time lapse number 3, the robots will be gigantic. And they'll be actually covering a big portion of the map. Just their bodies themselves. Customize your weapons with upgrades and overclocks, which can change your weapons and playstyle. Interesting. Yeah. I mean, it would help. It'd be pretty cool. I'm just wondering if some people might be too much depth. I guess that's what because it might mix things up. Like, for example, if you take out these cannons, replace them with something overpowered, like a plasma gun or something from Tech 3, suddenly, okay, in a nutshell, balance. How would you balance something like that is my problem. But yeah, that would be pretty cool though. I'm thinking, so yeah, upgrades and overclocks. Well, the thing about upgrades and overclocks is that just means it shoots faster or something like that. Which, the thing is, this is kind of hard sci-fi. Not in a literal sense, I mean, like, there's certain rules. Like, you can't overclock these machines. Like, this is as fast as it shoots. Kind of stuff like that. Like, you can't make these more powerful unless you make them literally bigger. And that's the realism I'm trying to go for. So the thing is, if there were customizable weapons, it would be that you can change it out for different ones. Like, for example, you can make this so it's one of these or something. So, yeah, I think, yeah, that makes sense. Like, for plasma weapons, you can shoot different colors of energy. Like, there's a spectrum. Like, some are that color, some are that color. It just keeps going like that. And then each one has different properties. Like, this could be for area denial, because this dissipates very slowly. This one burns stuff, this one hits stuff, this one is very forceful, this one explodes stuff, this one melts stuff, and this one, late game stuff, deletes things. So yeah, there'll be different weapon types. Like, for example, this is a yellow-based machine here. This is an orange-based machine here. This is a green-based machine here. Like, they each have different power levels, and they utilize them in very different ways. So, yeah. I mean, I don't see why not, honestly. Customizable weapons would be pretty cool. Not necessarily customizing the weapons, but actually customizing which weapons you're using. Because, yeah, I mean, I played Warframe before, and there's that mod system where you can put different mods on things, and that's pretty cool. But that's not the direction I'm really going in. Because everything here can't just be overclocked or literally upgraded by itself. Like, for example, I played another game called, what do you call it? Oh, Earth Defense Force. And the thing is, it has so many, like, superfluous weapons. Like, there's a lot of stuff that's like, why does that even exist? Like, joke weapons and stuff. And the thing is, with these things, if you start making it so everything's like... What happened here? Did I do something wrong? Well, anyway. Like, and there's too much redundancy. Like, this gun shoots bullets, and this gun shoots bullets faster, and this gun shoots bullets that are lasers, except they're bullets. So, I prefer that every weapon was unique in some way. Like, you're changing out the weapons, not the weapon stats. Ah, balanced overpowered, you could add energy overheat bar that goes up every time you shoot. I'm looking through my notes in my brain, trying to think, how do weapons overheat again? So, the thing about that is, each individual power weapon has different ways of overheating. So, like the red ones, I'm trying to remember. Like, they can shoot for a long time and not overheat. Like, they can do a continuous stream. But with, like, high-powered weapons, like the purple and the light blue, like, it's like kind of like a lightning bolt. It shoots once, and then it has to wait for a while. Well, yeah, like that, kind of. It shoots once, and then there's this massive, you have to wait for it. This one, it can just keep shooting and shooting and shooting and shooting. So here's the thing with the balance with that. So the thing is, the way it works is the robots actually eat this stuff. Whenever you shoot at them with this stuff, they eat it and they get more powerful. So to make the players want to use different types of weapons, if you kill them with red power, for example, they get bigger. They continuously get bigger. And the thing is, the only way to actually destroy them in a meaningful amount of time is to use high power weapons. Because if you're just still using red, you're just like, you're melting it away, but it's coming at you way too fast. So you'd have to use purple power, or like blue power, stuff like that. Things that can knock chunks off of it and destroy it more thoroughly. But the thing is, if you use too much of the blue or the high power stuff, it creates smaller robots that are faster. And suddenly you can only take out one at a time with your high power energy bolt. And it's just not efficient. And that's whenever you start using red power again. Because you can just wipe it across the map and then you start just destroying all the little stuff. So that's the way that that's balanced. So make it so you're not always using purple or always using red or always using yellow or green or blue or black. So that's how that's balanced. So I guess, yeah, if you were to boil it down that way, you could technically have different styles of weapons on different gun platforms, and it wouldn't mess with the balance too much. So, yeah, I guess, I mean, I already had that in mind, like interchangeable weapons. Here's another question, I suppose. I have all the answers, but no, here's another question. Would the player want customizable giant guns? Like, is that a thing that people would want? Like, for example, to lock down different areas of the map using different types of weapons? Or would it be just fine to have different subsets of cannons rather than just customizable cannons? I'm trying to look to find if I have one laying around. Yeah, that's why I'm not moving the camera or anything right now, because I'm looking. Can't seem to find my geocannon model. Oh, here we go. For example, you have giant guns like this. Would this be worth customizing? Like, you could change out the stock, or the barrel, or the base. Make it so it's faster or slower. Change out the command module structures. Change out the actual recoil mechanism. Stuff like that. Would that be worth customizing? Or would it be worth just having everything monolithic and you have different types of weapons? Like have a different type that's just completely different in morphology. Kind of like heroes, whenever you're playing a game. That's one particular hero or one particular gun. Not sure about that. If that's worth doing. So that's a question. That's not an answer. That's a question. Anyway. Let's see. What were we doing? This. Because I do plan you can change out the shells. Now you can put in green power shells, red power shells, square barrel shells, shells that are rocket powered, nuclear powered shells, like nuclear impulse powered. Not sure on the cannons themselves though. So yeah. Because the thing is, there'll be map control, strategic planning. So each different gun will have different strengths. Like some are strategic orbital cannons for taking out land masses to get to the larger machines. And then there's tactical destroyers. Tactical super destroyers. Where they sit in one spot and they shoot at whatever comes close to them. And this kind of bridges the gap between super destroyers, because this is a mobile super destroyer. Everything else is like a gun that sits on the ground. So yeah, on the fence about that. I may just make it so they're monolithic. And then you choose different ones for different tasks. Like here's your orbital cannon, here's your tactical cannon, here's your mobile geocannon. Stuff like that. Because I mean, it would put in some overhead to make those customizable on my end. Totally could do it, but it might be better just to prioritize other stuff if it's not really a thing people would want. So I'm not sure. What are we doing here? So this is the power containment system. So it needs a centrifuge here. It needs a control station here. And it needs an actual conversion unit here. So what has to happen is there needs to be a toroidal system here. So that means we have to go here. But that won't work. So we will do it live. So yeah, let me know. Sharks, the most customization with guns is the ammo, but the fun combat comes from finding your abilities and weapons. Yes, truer words have not been spoken. Yeah, I mean that's what complicates it. It's like you can't know what sort of customization would be where to cut it off until you know, put everything into context. Like, simple might be okay if you have the complexity manifesting somewhere else. It's just a matter of knowing how complex is too complex. Like, lightning to stun enemy and then get the free chance to shoot. Yeah. Stuff like that. Oh, hello, Martin man. Nice to see you again. How's it going? Going pretty well. Yeah, and yeah, it's just balancing those abilities, figuring out how deep is too deep. I'm thinking like there won't be funny things like that in this one. Like you won't be able to have a stun grenade or a... I'm trying to think, would you? You have chemical explosives. So the thing is, you're using power to destroy these machines, and they eat that power. But the thing is, if you don't want to feed them, you can use chemical explosives. And then the thing is, you can just walk right up to them, get up into their grills, and put explosives on them. They will not even bat an eye. They won't care. Because that's not what they eat. They won't be, like, disturbed by that. At least the animalistic ones won't be. So that's free kills, basically. The problem with that is you have to keep up that supply. Like, this is free. You can get it right out of the ground, no problem. But chemical explosives, you have to grow them. And there's a lot of logistical problems with that. So the idea is, if you're a peaceful person, like you're not going for full chaos and destruction, that you can just grow these things. And then if a robot pops up, he's kind of wandering into your stuff, you can have your infrastructure to be able to take them out without actually feeding them. Well, sometimes whenever things get huge, you're going to need the power to destroy them. But just have that option available to you. So yeah. So that's one way to cheese them, I guess. The later tiers, like the actual sapient ones, sapient robots, they see you walking up to them with explosives, they'll be like, hold on, bucko, what's that about? And they won't fall for it. It's just the robotic, the animalistic ones. Come on, give it to me. There. Okay. There's the tutorial pattern. So we need a buffer scraper system right here. Got 3 scraper systems. So yeah. And the thing is, there'll be a lot of different playstyles. Like, for example, if you don't want to fight the robots, you don't have to. Because they're just animals. They don't care. Like, you can actually do stuff to make it so you don't have to fight them. And here's another thing about that. You can actually join them. You'll be able to be with the robots and be a robot yourself. Ah, hotkeys! Yes, indeed. Yeah, there's no way. If you didn't have hotkeys, it just, yeah, it would go really slow. You need hotkeys. I mean, if you're gonna do dumb things like this, but yeah, it really helps. I mean, if anyone was interested in that, I could like list which hotkeys I have assigned to different things. Just for anyone that's curious, but I don't know if anyone is, though. That has been asked, but before you could hack, infect enemy robot animals. Not exactly. Like, you can't actually go up to them and literally get into their head. At least not right in the plan right now. Like, later on, if that proves that could add to the game, I might add it. But for right now, you can't actually get into their heads directly. The idea is you can, like, feed them and gain their trust and go up to them, like taming an animal. Like, they're animals, basically. You can tame them. Like, there's no way to hack them, necessarily. Not yet, at least. It is a good idea, though. I think maybe in later tiers, because there'll be different things where you can actually synthesize the robots. Like, you don't have to go out and find one, you can just make one. Actually, hacking them, not sure on yet. I've been using Sketchup. Fairly new, 1 year. Really getting to it last month, already improving. Yeah, good on ya. Well, I've been using Sketchup for a long time. I'd say 11 years? Yeah, about 11 years. Like, but the thing is, I kind of grew up with it, basically. Like, I wasn't actually legit looking up YouTube tutorials and figuring out how to make things efficiently. I was just making messes for fun. And that's why everything moves kind of fast, because it's kind of second nature to me. Which I would not suggest doing that. I mean, if you look up YouTube tutorials, you'll learn things so much faster than I did. Yeah, and yeah, I mean, SketchUp's a good program. Not for this kind of stuff, but yeah, for architecture and things. I would suggest... Nah, I won't even suggest it. Everyone says, Blender this, Blender that. I don't really like Blender. But yeah, I can't deny it either, though. Blender is pretty good. So yeah, 11 years, I'd say. Which, honestly, I don't have a whole lot to show for it. Okay, I mean, not, like, skill-wise, not content-wise. Like, someone's could have been using SketchUp for, like, a lot less time than me and be way better at it than I am. Because I took the least efficient way possible. How do you rebind hotkeys? Can't seem to do that in the free version. You can't? Well, that's weird. Why wouldn't they let you do that? Yeah, I haven't really used the free version, so I have no idea. I mean, that would be kind of lame that they wouldn't let you do that. But yeah, I mean, I go to just window preferences and I go to shortcuts and then it's all right there. I haven't really used the free version, so I don't know. If it's not under window preferences, then yeah, that would be really unfortunate, because hotkeys are a necessity if you plan on doing complex stuff. You need your hotkeys. Let's see, what were we doing? So the way this filters into here is very fancy. I don't know if we want to get fancy with this though, because that's not the morphology of this. Like, there are some curved bits, like here, but overall there aren't like a huge amount of curves. Okay, let's do a tangent. So, in the last month or so, I've improved a lot on, what do you call it, soft modeling. I figured out a lot of cool stuff, which is not applicable to this one, but it's pretty cool. When I actually made a concerted effort of improving myself. Because, like, you can make really cool stuff with these plugins. Like, a lot of times I'd have something like this, I'd be like, how do I make this into something? So I'd go around, like 5 years ago I'd be doing this. I'd be doing this for hundreds, thousands of polygons just doing this. So much wasted time. I mean, it's therapeutic, but it's wasted time. So, figured out you could do this. And this is the Curvaloft plugin. Bam! Like, that's crazy. And I figured out you could do, like, intersect faces on stuff. There's all sorts of cool plugins out there. If you're not using plugins and trying to do advanced stuff, it's really tough because you have to do everything manually. So only just recently have I decided to actually make an invested effort into doing this kind of stuff. Ew. You might get weird results though. And also, I picked up something, basically, like 3 days ago I did this. Quad modeling. Blew my mind. Let's see, let me pull that up. Quad modeling. Like, I did not even know how to do this kind of stuff until now. You can use this tool to, I'll put it up in here so you can see it. Where'd it go? Well, it's a bit of a mess. Ah, here we go. So, you can use this. You can do that. You can select your edge loops. You can, what is it? Right here. You can put that there. And you can actually do subdivision surfaces. Oh, my toolbar's all messed up. That's pretty crazy. Inventing design on the go, or do you have some plans you made? Nope, no plans. This is all random. It started off right here. This is what I had a while ago. It was just this. Looked kind of like a vehicle. I was like, what if we made 4 of them, and what if we made it had legs, and what if we made it like this? And that's it. Just random. Let's see. So yeah, I just kind of putz along whatever comes to mind at the time. Most people say work efficiently, have a reference, know what you're going for. Me, I do the opposite. Don't think at all and just make random junk. Which is good in a way. You end up with a lot of stuff that you couldn't have thought on your own. Like, there's no way I would ever think of something like this. It's just a product of the modeling process itself. You just keep it going and going and going until it just becomes something. Right. Ah, thank you very much. So, I will get better. Like, this is nice, but I can see a lot of stuff I could do better. Someday I will be able to make stuff like this in months rather than years. And that'd be really cool. With procedural generation, where you can just say, make this box, generates all the details for you. Now imagine this, except there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a dozen of them, of different types. Now that would be cool. Baby steps. We'll get to it. It's just a matter of art style, figuring out exactly how things function. Because this is all random. If I can find the pattern to it, then I could generate it. Someday I'm just gonna sit down and look at it and think about how could I generate stuff like this. Oh, I was talking about those tools because, brief tangent, my clicker finger's kind of tired because I was doing this yesterday. If I can find it. Right here. I made these cool stuff. Like, this is not my normal art style. Like, whenever I was doing this, I had to learn a lot of new things. Pretty good. Didn't know how to model this kind of stuff until yesterday, basically. Quad modeling. And some subdivision. And you can make some cool stuff with it. Like, let's see. Load it up. Here we go. Yeah, some steampunk stuff. That's not my usual style. Someone asked me to do something else, so I was like, okay, I'll try to do it. That's pretty comforting knowing I can actually do something outside my normal style. That I'm not just making things at random. Which I literally was, but yeah. Well, that's fun. Very nice. But I will stick with my usual style for this one. So I won't do any like fancy stuff. Because it might mess up the overall aesthetic of the machine itself. Which I'm trying to keep consistent. So yeah. I am improving. But not on this. I'm starting to figure out doing stuff like this makes me faster, but not necessarily more coherent. Like, only whenever I go for something I'm not usually used to doing is whenever I actually learn things. Because this is just random. Keeps going and going and going and going and going until eventually it's good enough to call it complete. So what has to happen here is... This is the command structure to the actual machine power system. So there's a power substation here that needs a lift to it. So there's gonna be like an elevator right here. There's a hotkey for the follow me tool. Also, that steampunk. Yo, thank you very much. Yeah, I have a hotkey for the follow me tool, but it's custom. Like, there's hotkeys on there that are default, but I've just made them all different for convenience. So I don't know what it's labeled as. I'm sure there's something online that would tell you what the default hotkeys are for SketchUp free. Like, for example, I have mine on V. Like, whenever I need to make something follow. It's just V. Hey. It's not a valid path, obviously. Anyway, yeah. And like E is for eraser, Q is for push-pull, S is for scale, A is for move, D is for square, C is for circle, X is for reverse faces, G is to make a component, because making components on the fly is very important. Like, you go into the rollout and making component just takes too long. Moving. So yeah. And also, here's another thing, another tip. Put your hide rest of model to a hotkey. Like, going up here and hiding rest of the model with your little roll down bar, way too inconvenient. Like, if I wanted to mess with this right here, everything's in the way. You can't get to it. So I have that to get to Control E, hides the rest of the model. Control D for hiding similar components, so I can mess around with this stuff right here. But yeah, for the free SketchUp, I'm not sure what the hotkeys are. I can't imagine they have the hotkeys for things like hiding the rest of the model, which would be very inconvenient. Like, I wouldn't be able to work with that kind of stuff. Sometimes you just have to bite the bullet and buy stuff sometimes, which I'm kind of very much on the fence about their new subscription-based stuff. That's why I'm selling Sketchup 2020. That's nasty. I'd rather pay for a product, not a service, thank you. We'll leave that alone. Another tip I have is if you think about getting a 3D mouse, it may not always be worth it. Because I have a 3D mouse right here. And you can do crazy stuff. Woo! Fly around and do things with your 3D mouse. But I never use it. Like, it's too imprecise. Like, I can't go over here and then put my hand way over here and start pushing the buttons. Which I'm sure if you had one that had buttons on it, that might be almost worth it. But I just don't do that. It's not precise enough. Like, I need to go right here, right now. And then it goes there. Like, if I try to do it with this, it's like, yeah, we're there now. But this is like, get over here immediately. Another thing I have is, I have something in the background that makes it so whenever I zoom in, it makes it do it 3 times rather than 1. Like, normally you zoom in once. I made it so every time you do once, just 3. So, whenever you need to get there now. Stuff like that. And just little things like that really helps it along. Like, makes it go a lot faster. Especially when you're doing stupidly complex stuff. More complex than it needs to be, honestly. And yeah, I read somewhere recently that they say true pros, they don't work fast, they work effectively. Which for me, I'm just doing it fast. So your case might be very much different where you actually know what you're doing and you know what you want and you're a smart person. Because fast is not always better. You can be fast, but product is what people want. I mean, that's what you need. A lot of times, moving fast isn't always necessarily meaning you're doing something. So anyway, for example, I haven't been doing much in the last few minutes. Just spinning it around. Let's see. I think what we need is we need a... So there's a special right here, special thing. Always make sure your curves have enough segments on them. I did not learn that until recently. So yeah, I will say that first and foremost, I am not the best modeler in the world, not by a long shot. You can learn a lot more applicable things from people that know what they're doing. But yeah. It's fun stuff though. Speed of the essence. Now what would be really cool, like I've been watching some YouTube videos of people, they do speed modelings. It's like model a certain such and such in a certain amount of time. I'm looking at it, I'm like, I could do that. I highly doubt I would though. Maybe someday, whenever I get more confident that I can actually do things besides sci-fi, maybe I can start doing that kind of stuff. Where you do speed modelings. But this goes really slow because I have to think at the time what I'm trying to do. Like I don't have any source material in front of me to go off of. So a lot of this stuff I have to make up on the fly. I mean, literally everything I do. I won't do. Do the X. Yes. Do we want that? No. And this has to be shorter. So yeah, precision. SketchUp is very precise. That's kind of how it filters into the art style, making everything precise. Yeah, I have to leave. Yeah, I have to leave here pretty soon as well. It's been going on long enough. I will see you later. At what completion are you right now? Okay. Let's see. Let's quantify that. So, this has to be filled in right here. All that stuff. This has to be refined. Everything has to be refined. Like this won't do. The entire main gun has to be made. So, from a model standpoint, as in model complete, it is at 70%, I'd say. No, wait. Let me revise that. Maybe 60%. Because the way you divvy it up, only yay amount of modeling was done. Maybe even just that, like that much. So this is all we've really done. So what has to happen from a blocking out standpoint is something like yay big. So if we quantify that, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 out of 5. That's 80, 70. I would say around 70%. But the thing is we have to refine this as well, so that's another 10%. So that would be like 60. So around there. So you can buy it only once. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I mean, I'm on a perpetual license. Like, I'm not upgrading anymore. I'm not getting any of the latest versions. I'm fine with what I have. I mean, learning something new would be really tough. But not terrible. I think what I'll go for is Modo. That fancy thing with the Boolean geometry kind of stuff. That looks very interesting. I was trying a trial of it and I was like, hey, this is pretty good. So I think if I were to move to something else, I'd use Modo. Which, I have to raise money for that though. If I do plan on actually using it legit. Like, for everything. So yeah. Haven't touched it much. Trial ran out. Left it alone. Blender I'm not convinced by. Blender's nice, but I don't really like it much. I don't know why I'm avoiding it, honestly. Seems pretty good. Yeah, I'll look into Rhino. I haven't actually looked into Rhino much. Wonder what it could offer. It's good to weigh your options. Yeah, so thanks for the tip. I will look at Rhino. But yeah, I mean, I've been going for an hour and a half. I could go all day, but for some reason the stream likes to cut off randomly at the 1 hour 50-minute mark, so I guess we can call it here. Good enough. We'll get there. Not much progress, but that's every stream. I think I'll try and put in some more effort before the next stream so there's more things to look at between then and there. So we're not just building from scratch every single time. So I guess we made this. We made that. We made that. Do some other types of stream? I don't know. I could. I don't know what would be interesting. If you make a suggestion, I have no idea. I can do anything you want. I mean, I don't know what would be interesting to watch though. Speed modeling is fine. I've just kind of been mixing it up, like just showing off random models while I'm working on this thing. So I honestly don't know. I was thinking maybe I could do dev streams about the actual game, but that wouldn't be a stream, it would be just a video. I don't know. This is all very experimental. I've never streamed before, so I just don't know what's worth streaming. So yeah. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you think. What do you think I should be streaming? Which might be fun to watch. Because I'd imagine this stuff gets boring fast. Who wants to watch a guy model? Who does that kind of stuff? Why would we want to watch that? Got out with the students discount at the university a couple weeks ago. There's a mixed between AutoCAD and Sketchup. Makes use of burbs curves. Ew. You mean NURBS curves? Yeah. Interesting. I'll look into it. I mean, that might be a little too precise for me, because I do art with it, not engineering. So, but yeah, I'll look into that. That might be fun to look at. Anyway, I guess that's it for now. Willing to learn Grasshopper, what comes with Rhino, you could do parametric. Ooh! Now you're speaking my language. Parametric is nice. I like parametric. Yeah, I'll look into it. Oh, thanks very much. Well, I'll try and make it more interesting. I model certain stuff, like actual go for specific objects rather than spinning it around and just thinking about it rather than actually modeling. Anyway, gotta run. Model stream's been going long enough. Anyway, thank you all for being here and giving suggestions and questions and all that good stuff. That's what I like to see. And y'all are great people for doing it. So, yeah. Guess that's it. And I will see you all later. Next week, probably. And, yeah. And thanks for being around. And toodaloo. Yep, and you're welcome.